Cool.
Uh, we are running a little behind, but I think we have enough of a cushion today that we can bump our break a few minutes. So next, move on to Kelly Lake. She is our head of KnowledgeWorks Global Learning Division, and she'll cover some e-learning and continuing education solutions that are increasingly of interest to platform publishers to serve their end users and society members. So Kelly.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. Well, I'm excited to be here today to talk a little bit about our learning services and what we can offer. Again, thank you for the introduction, Mike. I'm Kelly Lake. I head the global learning component or vertical, if you want to say that, within KGL. I'm very excited that we actually can talk a little bit more. So we provide full services, and what I mean full learning services end to end. And I'm going to go down just quickly through these a couple different areas. So to give you just a little bit more insight on what we can do and how we can help you and what those services look like. Okay. The nice thing is that we are a global team. Most of everyone on my team has been in the industry for quite a while. We have very skilled individuals and different verticals. We bring in subject matter experts specifically for core areas of industries that we focus on. The nice part about that is it's a very collaborative design. So let's talk a little bit more about where our services lie. So we offer strategic consulting services. And like I said, I'll drill down in that. Pretty much our core learning solutions, which e-learning solutions, and then also our certification development. And I want to talk a little bit about that and hopefully give you just a little bit more examples on how applicable that might be. So just to kick this off, our strategic learning consulting really focuses around wherever you might be in your learning life cycle, which means that we look at strategically how to help you. You might be in the beginning of a project. You might have an existing, set of courses or content that you want to look to revive or, keep that constant or update it with what the market is doing. So we work along those lines. We look at new designs. We look at, who the recipients of that training is going to be. We match that with your goals. So strategically, we come up with a plan and we work across a lot of different verticals, helping to move you forward. And that allows you to look at where you currently are and then where you could be. And we bring those best practices in, which kind of makes it seamless because we help you. We help you to see where you can go with what you're doing. We bring in new, fresh ideas of what's happening in the market and what's happening with other different customers that are out there that are doing this. So we were able to bring that consulting through to you. We've been doing this for quite a long period of time, which makes it very convenient. And also, as part of that consulting, we create the content. So we're creating learning and development, which means majority of what we're doing is interactive design. So whether it's specifically courses that you're doing, we work to ensure that we have interactivities within our courses, which what that means is whether it's, you need to deploy it for mobile, you need to be able to reach your users, whether it's internally or externally, but having it a very custom interface that really meets your business goals. The nice thing about that too is we're highly engaging. So we're collaborative. We work with you. Our end products are pretty spectacular, if I could say that. Mike might laugh a little bit, but I do have a slide to show you what some of those can look like. We ensure that we deploy the highest level of team in regards to match your goals as well. Not only from that, but a lot of what we build is video based. So that tends to be a trend these days where you're able to deploy it from a video perspective with engagement, interactivity. Scenario-based learning, which allows you to place the user right in the middle of a scenario, simulation-based. So we do what's called a lot of experiential or immersive learning, which focuses directly on the learner themselves, not only from a course perspective, but also from micro-learning, which are smaller chunks of learning, all the way into programs themselves. And we do this on all different levels, providing not only from a learner perspective all the way up to management, and then we deploy this pretty much seamlessly to ensure that it's going to work across the board with whatever technology that you're using at that particular point. But we're using the most modern technology to build our courses as well. So certification, we're very proud of this as we're working across all of KGL. The nice part about our certification, it's definitely CE or CEU, depending on how you related. We work with accrediting bodies, our agencies, to ensure that we're reaching every single one of the requirements within those particular certifications we're creating. We have our own SMEs, and we do have a board of client advisors that represents every vertical that we're working with. Also within that, we have specialists on our team that specialize on the CE side of life. So we're making sure that we're working in conjunction with that, not only from a course perspective, but the programs that we build are becoming more interactive. I've been working primarily in healthcare for close to 20 years and developing different types of content and interactivity. We've worked with, American Diabetes Association, the Mayo Clinic, across the board, American Heart Association, just to be able to work with content that we're challenged from a perspective to keep it engaging. So, again, it's a new perspective on how we're looking at certification. It's a new perspective on how we can design. We approach the design. It's much more cost effective than it's ever been before. We're able to turn these around and actually have that engagement factor raised. I'll give you an example. Working with the Mayo Clinic, one of the biggest challenges was around all of their diabetic programming. And we created a whole new certification program around that, but the content was a little flat, as you could possibly imagine. We were able to reduce the amount of time that would be sat just in front of the PC, but made it more engaging. So that way, wherever you are, you could take that. The engagement rate went up in the first year from a low end of 22%, which is pretty substantially low, within the first year to over 50% participation and completion, just because of the interactivity that we built within that. So very proud of that. I think that's pretty much a theme as we go through these discussions on what different types of learning are you currently doing, what can we do to help augment that in a very quick way, and how we're actually deploying those different types of training. And we'd be happy to share, some more examples, but I do have just a high level couple screenshots of different types of training that we've created just to show you, not only is it, individuals that we're doing, but we're also doing 3D animation. We're going into what's called, virtual people, which makes it a little bit more dynamic and automated as well. We do a tremendous amount, as I mentioned before, videos, which ups the learner engagement rate on it as well. So from these examples, you can just see a little bit more of the in-depth of what we've been focusing on to real life scenarios, placing within a specific location, different parts of the anatomy, augmenting it in a 3D reality, being able to test on that very quickly. So there's different approaches that we're doing as well. We're actually moving into AR and VR as there's a couple. The first one on the top left-hand side over here is actually from a VR course that's been created as well. So there's exciting things that are happening, but any additional images that you may want or demos, we'd be more than happy to provide that back to you and give you a little bit more case studies and how we can work dynamically. Okay. And I will pause there and ask if there's any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Kelly before we wrap up? All right, I have one question for you, Kelly. So we've been working together to create our presence at the DevLearn Expo later this month, which is a big learning technology show in Las Vegas. And you are actually speaking on stage and conducting a live stream of your session on engaging the modern workforce through technology. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little more about what some of the advances that you just touched on with the screenshots are in immersive experiences and technologies for learning and development.
Sure. Great. Well, DevLearn is definitely an exciting thing. And it's, as Mike said, a technology-based kind of a presentation. So what we've seen and what's new, right, is not only our core areas of competencies around creating courses and interactivities, whether they're short or longer program, but is a little bit more on the immersive solutions, which means putting the learner in the center of everything that they're doing, so they're experiencing what they're doing. So it's not only just your typical kind of level 1 training, which is like a page turner or a PowerPoint, but it's engaging with it. we're seeing such an increase. I don't want to get too technical, but it's called the metaverse, right? So how do we take training and learning into the next phase? And that's more around AR, augmented reality, where you're able to use your mobile phones or your mobile device over a certain application or something, and have the details come up with it. Where we do a lot of that now, you see a lot of that in the market. But where the advances really are is on the virtual side of it, where you don't need to wear these large headsets. They're actually smaller devices that you can use, placing learners right in the middle of where they are, recreating a specific hospital room, having them walk through those advances, being able to have hands-on touching of different procedures that was limited in the past, but this now becomes available for every level of learner. And it's done actually, pretty inexpensively to what we've seen in the past. So the technology is there, the experience is there, and ensuring that it's more real life based is exactly where we are right now in the whole entire learning ecosystem.
Great, thank you. It gives us a flavor of the emerging technology out there. All right, I think we're just about ready to wrap up this session. I think we will move to the 15-minute break now and resume at 10:45 Eastern. So we will see you shortly. Tom will kick off the Ask the Expert session then.